Mr. Bishop.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Secretary, thank you for being here today. Thank you for your testimony. You certainly have outlasted the rest of the committee. Congratulations on that. I have just one question, in fact, and I wanted to get your input, if I could, on the Department of Labor's proposed overtime rule, and really your input as to what I've been hearing from a lot of folks in the education community, that it would have a dramatic effect on higher ed all the way down to our local school districts. Just specifically, I've heard from a number of small colleges in my home state of Michigan about the potential negative impacts of this new rule. One college, very small, 1,700 students, told me they could face up to $1 million increase in costs per year under this new rule. There are other examples across the country. As I looked into the issue, I found that the University System of Maryland, for example, estimates that they could see an increase in costs of up to $40 million in just the first year. The University of Florida, which has 12 universities in all, faces a cost of $62 million annually, $62 million. Community colleges in Iowa estimate that this rule would have could have raised their costs in 2016 so far up to $12.6 million. That's just in the first quarter. There's so many examples, and I won't get into all of them because we have limited time, but it's of great concern. I should note that the rule will also have negative impacts on school employees. Many of them will be reclassified as hourly employees to try and deal with this rule. That would be considered by most as a demotion. The rule would also limit opportunities in the workplace, such as flexible schedules and career development. And obviously, too, this costs for colleges and universities at all levels. And that trickles all the way down to everybody who's got to pay for college, students, parents, and it's really having a hugely devastating effect. And I'm not certain that this was intended to be the case, but I do know that it is the case. And I just wondered if you could give me some of your thoughts about the proposed rule and some of these issues that have been raised.
Yeah, I mean, I defer to my colleagues at the Department of Labor on the specifics of the rule. I would say, as a general matter, whether it's issues around overtime or paid leave or minimum wage, I think at the end of the day, investing in our workforce results in a stronger middle class that in the end then allows for more resources for higher education, for early education, for K-12 education. So in the long run, I think those kinds of efforts to protect employees and protect the interests of employees are important to the overall economy. But again, I would defer to my colleagues at the Department of Labor on the specifics of the rule.
But can you at least acknowledge that there are clearly issues that have been raised and might be a real concern? These might be unintended consequences, but in fact, they are legitimate concerns raised by colleges and universities and local school districts.
You know, I think colleges and universities, like other employers, need to develop strategies that make sense for their employees and for their long-term.
That's why they raised the issue, because they're trying to do that, but they have limited dollars. And all I want is to raise the issue with you, to make sure that it's on your radar screen, so that you might have an opportunity to speak with Secretary Perez on the issue, because it's a real concern. And these are people that obviously you have jurisdiction over. They're both students, they're teachers, they're colleges and universities, and it's important. I just wanted to raise it to your attention. I see my time is up, Mr. Chairman, so I